Wow, that looked creepy. So, what will be the quest in this chapter and who will be tested? And what will be the big reveal? Hi there, it's Micha. Join me for this review if you like to find out. Apparently, last episode's summoning of the replacement Green Witch resulted in an opening through which the Salem 7 found their way onto the Witch's Road. So, to escape, the Coven has to resort to a classic most of them despise: riding a broom.
They're an obvious symbol of female domesticity.
And they're basic.
Or here, more precise, a stick. So they drive stick. After a quick chase, they end up in a cabin in the woods, where it is Agatha's task to face the dead. So they have to use a Ouija board to communicate with them. That way they learn that to master this trial, they have to
Punish Agatha!
While they ponder on that, Agatha shortly gets possessed by what turns out to be the ghost of her dead mother.
Why do you hate me still?
You were born evil. I ought to have killed you the moment you left my body.
Knowing that Agatha killed her original Coven, after they tried to kill her, disrupts the group's resolve, with Jennifer clearly stating,
"The only danger to us in this trial is Agatha Harkness."
After her mother once again takes over, Alice steps in to help Agatha, who can't control her power to absorb another's energy, and is only stopped as the teen calls out her son's name, who reached out through the Ouija board.
Nicholas Gretsch!
However, for Alice this help comes too late, leaving us with another casualty.
Don't touch her! She was protecting you!
Which ends this quest and turns the remaining Coven against Agatha, including the teen, who states that if being a witch means killing for your own agenda, then he doesn't want any part of it. To which Agatha replies,
Are you sure?
as she finally figures out his identity.
You're so much like your mother.
At that point, he reveals to have powers and uses them to control Lilia and Jen, who pushes Agatha into the nearby swamp before they end up in there themselves. The episode ends with the teen being shown with a crown that pretty much resembles the one that the Scarlet Witch used to wear. Well, this chapter gave us a lot to swallow, from the death of another witch to the reveal that the teen is indeed not Agatha's son, who apparently truly is dead, but instead turned out to be Billy Maximoff, Wanda's son. Though he may roughly have the right age considering WandaVision took place 4 years ago, how did he survive being removed from reality? Did something Wanda did in Multiverse of Madness allow for this? If so, is his brother also alive? But maybe he came from a different universe. Then of course the question would be how he ended up on Earth 616. I guess we will learn more in the next episode, which was teased a bit in a trailer I just saw.
Feels like there's a story there.
This likely means I was right that there will be a flashback episode. Just not around Agatha, but around Billy. Or maybe both. We will see. Maybe that chapter will also include Billy's quest on the Witch's Road, which then actually would make the number of remaining episodes match up again. -1 for the finale, as I didn't consider there to be a task for him, having no powers. Or so we thought, which now obviously changed. It will be interesting to see where this leads, and if they use it to finally bring back Wanda. Wouldn't that be a surprise? Maybe we even get a cameo from Vision along the way, as apparently this show is the second installment after WandaVision and supposedly will lead into Vision Quest. Could you imagine? What we also learned in this chapter is the identity and motivation of the Salem 7.
When Agatha murdered her sister witches, she spared their young children.
Yeah, and then they became a feral, hive-minded coven bent on revenge.
And did you notice that Agatha obviously planned on taking Billy's powers but couldn't as he used them to control Jen and Lilia instead? So she still has not learned and is up to her old tricks. What remained unclear, besides Billy's deal, And what I keep asking myself is this: where do we go from here? Where did the witches end up after being thrown into the bog? Where was Rio Vidal when this happened? Did it really happen, or is this just in Billy's head while his quest begins? And was Agatha's quest really her trial, as she didn't have to overcome anything, which felt a bit off? Again, the next chapter will likely shine a light on this. By the way, have you noticed the 80s vibe this week? If it wasn't clear before that this show mirrors WandaVision's journey through the TV decades, this week made it more than obvious that this show references another decade of horror movies during each quest, with the potion quest being in a house from the 60s, Alice's curse being in a 70s setting, and we are now in the 80s, with the location being either a campsite or a cabin, paying homage to Friday the 13th and similar movies. And even though the possessed Agatha looked more like in the 70s Exorcist, this was clearly a nod to the Evil Dead, as were some other small allusions. They even used the 80s trope of some joker pulling a prank at the most inappropriate moment.
I'm Sharon Davis.
She's Agatha.
She's just scared.
I thought that was pretty good.
So I guess the 90s will be next. Maybe with a reference to Scream or I Know What You Did Last Summer. We will see. And speaking of references, there was another nice nod to witches' lore by riding on brooms, including one of my favorite scenes in this show so far, Rio Vidal sporting the classic laugh associated with witches. And with that being said, let's get to the rating. Okay, while being the shortest entry so far at just 30 minutes, and with more focus on the reveal than on the trial, this chapter gave us a lot. I'm not sure though if that will turn out to be something good, or if it may derail the show. Of course right now no one can tell, so I can't score based on me worrying about what may happen. Either way, this turn of events in the middle of the show opened up a lot of opportunities and makes us excited for what comes next, for better or worse.
Death comes for us all.
I'm rating this episode with another 8 out of 10 points, hoping that it will lead to an even higher score in the next chapters. And fingers crossed that this show doesn't pull a secret invasion in the second half of its run. What about you? Are you thrilled by this twist or a bit worried? Do you expect Wanda or Vision to make an appearance along the way? Whatever you like to share, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, share or subscribe. So much for now, see you next time, and thanks for watching. Agatha shortly gets possessed by what turns out to be the ghost of her dead mother. As I didn't consider there to be a task for him. By the way, have you noticed the 80s vibe? And even though the possessed Agatha looked more like in the 17's Exorcist,